Thank you so much for watching our last video on measures of dispersion. In last video, we talked about range and interquartile range. In this video, we will talk about the most important concept which will be used in the subsequent lectures also. And this is called standard deviation. This is also basically a measure of dispersion only. And one of the most important measure. Let me explain you what is the meaning of standard deviation. If you will see, there are two different parts in the name of a standard deviation. First one is standard and another one is deviation. Standard basically means average, and deviation, as the name suggests, is basically a difference or variation between the points. So standard deviation is nothing but average variation between the points. But the question arises, variation from what? To answer that question, let's move to the formula of standard deviation. So basically what we do is we calculate the deviation or variation of points from the mean. This is the deviation we are talking about. So we are calculating deviation of point from the mean, and we are summing it up from I is equal to 1 to n, where n is population size. So what we are doing is, to calculate the deviation, we have done summation of I is equal to 1 to n xi minus x bar, where x bar is the population mean. And since we are talking about average, we will divide this total sum by total number of observations. So basically, if you will have a look at the formula again, it's nothing but summation I is equal to 1 to n xi minus x bar divided by n. And this is the formula for mean that we have talked in the previous classes, which is sum of observations, in this case sum of deviation divided by total number of observations. But there is one important issue in this particular formula. Let me give you an example. Suppose this is the mean, and the mean of our population is 10. Some points are here, like let's take an example. Here we do have 8. There is another point which is 6. There is another point which is, say, 4. Similarly, here we do have 12, 14, 16. This is just an example to explain you an important concept. So basically, if we will follow the formula on this particular data, what we will do is we will do 8 minus 10 plus 6 minus 10 plus 4 minus 10, which is equal to minus 2 plus minus 4 plus minus 6. Similarly, we will do 12 minus 10 plus 14 minus 10 plus 16 minus 10. Here also, if you will see, we are adding plus 2 plus 4 plus 6. And if you will add everything, that is sum of all the deviations, it will come out to be 0. So although there is a deviation in the data, as we can see, there is a deviation. Some points are below the mean and some points are above the mean. Basically, currently we are not taking care of the fact that some elements can be below and some elements can be above the mean. This deviation is coming out to be zero, which is wrong. To solve this particular problem, what we do is we square the deviation and then do a sum. That means we are doing summation I is equal to 1 to n xi minus x bar square divided by n. This is the formula for variance. And since we have squared all the elements and hence we have changed the scale of the observation, if we will do a square root of this particular term, square root of variance, this will give us standard deviation, which is on the same scale as our original data set. So basically what we have done is we have calculated the deviation of all the points from their mean, squared it up, added it up, and then divided by the total number of observations. This will give you the variance. Since we have calculated variance by changing the scale of observations and squaring it up, we will do a under root of variance to get the standard deviation. Symbol for variance is basically sigma square, while for standard deviation is just excluding this particular square. Now, what is the interpretation of standard deviation? Standard deviation is basically telling you on an average how much points vary from mean, how far points are from their mean. If the standard deviation is high, we are saying that on an average points are very far from mean and hence more dispersed. While if the standard deviation is low, we are telling that they are less dispersed. I hope the formula for standard deviation is clear and how we are calculating it and what is the formula for variance. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.